G'day, this is Captainoob, and I've got one question. How was your day? Was it good? Discuss below. Next question is, can you solo a colossal problem? Can you solve a colossal problem with a gamma gun? Now, the gamma gun I've chosen today I actually had in my inventory, so I actually have this gamma gun on my live character right now. It was given to me as a gift from a person who hates Fallout 76 now, and never stops talking about how much he hates it and then occasionally plays it. But it's a quad gamma gun with the double lucky tertiary and secondary legendary effects, because if you remember Righteous Authority, you get double crit damage and then your crits feel faster. I think it's the same 15% as it was in Fallout 4, but yeah, so quad double lucky, isn't that nice? Now what we'll be able to do with that is not get our health at nerd rage threshold. You'll see there that it's quite a bit up. Now we do have unyielding armor. Would have been smart for me to use something else other than unyielding, but we get over 24 luck. I think that's the threshold with the lucky tertiary legendary effect to get a crit every other shot. Although it kind of doesn't happen because, you know, to get the crits every other shot, you need the previous shots to actually hit. With the gamma gun, it fires a round that moves at sub hit scan speeds, so you'll find that you actually aren't able to utilize the crit every other shot thing as much as you want. And the fact that I've got the big dish on this, the deep dish, it just doesn't give me that good VATS efficiency, but it does increase my range, therefore my accuracy is better over range, and it carries a damage slightly better at range, which means we can stand way back and shoot Earl with barely any, I guess, risk to ourselves, because if we get caught within that radius of the radiation, and I'm going to demonstrate exactly what this can do. That was just one shot, and keep in mind that this thing fires that fast at this low health. I'm not going to last long with that, so that's why we've done things the way we've done. You also note how I've got a combat shotgun, vampires, and also with just parts that increase its accuracy, just so I can hit. That's me crippling tool. That might just become a staple of these runs because they're just so useful to have. Even just one rank and enforcer gets the job done real quick. Here is my build. We've got tank killer because it works with pistols, crack shot. Don't really utilize that all that much because most of the time we are using VATS, and if I just hit fire most of the time anyway. Concentrated fire, that's helpful for going limbs. There's glow sight. Don't even know if that works against the glowing Wendigo peanut dudes. And grenadier, which I don't know if that increases the radius of like the gamma gun's explosions, because there is a little bit of an explosion. That's how you get the radiation damage, but maybe it makes the projectile look bigger and more seizure inducing. I've got full gunslinger here, and just as a reference of the thing, so we're doing 131 as I dropped that for no reason. And if we get rid of that, now we're doing less than that, you see. So it's important that you put on the gunslinger perks. Although this thing is modified to be automatic, it still takes the gunslinger perk. Escape artist, full rank of sneak, only one in adrenaline because I figured out that I don't really use it that much anyway, and it's a small damage bonus for what. So I just went in full sneak so I could just stay hidden to prevent myself from shooting stuff that is too close, because they run up and hit you, which could cause issues. We've got quick hands, which does actually do a lot of the work for us here. End up being a pretty handy pick there, no pun intended. Critical savvy, better criticals for getting better damage in criticals and keeping them coming quicker. And we've got bloody mess for that little bit of extra damage. We've got tenderizer. We've also got follow through, far flung fireworks, and a bunch of points in me special just to distribute more to diversify my build and the amount of things. And I think that's it. You ready to go, Brooke? Yeah, you look ready. Alright, we're about 20 or so seconds from going, and I've got no idea how this is going to go. I don't rate the gamma gun, but we'll see what happens, shall we? Well, the crits are strong. There might be a seizure-inducing moment in this because we're going to be fighting in a very dark arena, and that might cause issues with these gigantic green blobs that sort of show up. So, like, some of the effects in this game, like, I don't know if there's like a anything that would control whether a game would be allowed to produce those effects on screen. But like those rapid flashing lights, that's not good. So the plan here is just the standard. We gotta go and cripple his legs, pin him in place. So we'll do that with a combat shotgun, enforcer, and then we'll stand all the way back here and start shooting at him. And we're not hitting it most of the time because we run out of AP that quickly, but the long barrel allows me to snipe at him. I think that was a back-to-back-to-back quick hands proc there. That's pretty nice. Look at that. So the damage, it's pretty good. Now, if I were to do some canned coffee, which I might, I'm kind of considering it. If I've got any, I'm just gonna pop a few. I've got one. Sure, why not? It doesn't do much when it's alone. But anyways, regardless of that, it's doing a good job. It's doing a really good job, and I hope we're kind of blinding Earl by doing this, because that would be funny, adding real insult to injury. But you can see the staggering difference in damage when it comes to using this with and without VATS. We're seeing 200s and stuff, and then without VATS, it's like 18 damage. The damage reduction, I guess, seeping in there. And there's another rank of something. Another quick hands proc there. Another one. I mean, we may as well, right? That's definitely not what the thing I target. I'm glad I stopped firing then, because I probably would have killed myself. I suppose we'll just gain a little bit of adrenaline here. I don't know. Is this thing quiet? I feel like it shouldn't be, because you can see these gigantic green glowing basketball projectiles coming at you, but there's a little bit of inconsistency. I can stand back here with a laser gun and be completely fine. He can't see me. And we haven't even crippled his face yet, which you'd think would lower his perception enough to warrant that. Kind of worried about running out of bullets here, but we did bring over 11,000, so if that's a problem for us... Yeah, that one was right next to us. I mean, we've got high agility and a gigantic sneak buff bonus thing, so that's okay. Curiously, he's not moving. His legs aren't repairing themselves, which might mean that this thing's got... Is it a splash radius thing that's keeping him pinned like that? If it is, then that makes it a fairly decently suited utility gun just for keeping him pinned in place once you've got him crippled with, say, Enforcer. There he goes. He's out again. And we'll repeat this process. And ooh, he's going right back now. Guess we'll shoot at this Wendigo just to pass the time. There we go. I've like crippled, and you know what, we'll cripple his face for good measure here, just in case we get ourselves into a little bit of trouble. I just noticed there that we've almost ran this thing to the ground, and as a reminder, I've got Gunsmith rank 5, so yeah, it's not the most durable looking thing. There's a bit of duct tape holding the bloody thing together, I think on the grip especially, but yeah, I guess that could cause issues with its durability. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep shooting at him. May as well, right? We've got a little bit of VATS interference. Got to get that out of the way first. Really not keen on this. I'm glad I've got me light on in my room right now. Otherwise, this might be somewhat disorienting. And lots of Wendigos are popping out of the woodwork without being like directly summoned in. So that's kind of interesting. Get a little bit of health back with a shotgun. You're way too close, friend. Fuck off. And then we'll go back to this. Oh my god! Just target the big guy. We've let him survive for so bloody long and not shot him because of the stupid bloody peanuts that he was actually able to move again. We got a cheeky proc there as well again. Quick Hand's actually doing some pretty good work, and I might just cripple the torso because I hate him. A little bit of pain for you. Completely unspec'd, by the way. And whilst I've got a little lull in the combat here, we'll whack a fresh repair kit onto that, courtesy of the Scorch Beast Queen. And then we'll shoot this guy a few times. He's going to do his slow juice, not knowing that I'm all the way back here. And yeah, if I got a VATS enhanced version of this, now I could increase my viability with this thing a little bit more if I was currently in actual Nerd Rage threshold, because that's another 5 agility points, which is another 50 action points. But the risks for radiation here, I think, are a little bit too large. He's actually seen us now. I suppose the other ones might have as well, so we'll address that. And now, we're going to be knee-deep in peanuts if we don't be careful. And let's get him pinned here. This is not actually a horrible place for him to sit because... Whoops, I went with a slow juice. Something he kind of left behind. And whoops, other one. There you go. Let's find the big thumb. And alright, so here's the thing about the gamma gun. Since the projectiles are not hit scan, the ability to spam crits with this is significantly diminished over range. Okay, so they are coming this way. I've got some plasma grenades. Shield your eyes, because these go off. Look at that. And now Earl's on the move again. For whatever reason, he decided to stay pinned throughout all of that, and we got staggered there. We'll try to weave through these environmental hazards. Looks like we've done that. Found the front end loader of all things, and then we'll regain our health. I haven't done a stim pack yet, that's funny. Even got another quick hands proc. Aren't you brilliant today? And then, there we go. Make sure we get out of this ember fall here. And then find his face. And I wonder if we could potentially, like, I guess... No. Okay, so as soon as you fire the crit, the thing expires. So, yeah, it's not a crit every other shot. It should be, but since the projectiles aren't getting there all the time, it causes issues in that respect, I suppose, which is not the end of the world, but... So, I feel like this thing is not silent. It's not entirely silent, and whoops. That's a bad place to stand. And, that kind of, it's drawing them closer, which is interesting. Suppress guns usually have them just sort of vibing in the center here, so it's not something that I've really seen before, but we're getting through it. And the giant amount of radiation damage is taken. Do I have... Well, he's obviously like a ghoul creature, so he's immune to it. Wouldn't say healed by it because he has taken damage from it, but you know, he's taken something. Most of this stuff would be from just the constant rads, I mean the ballistic damage that it does, which is actually fairly significant. In terms of the power level, are we pushing him into the drill? We might be, you know, that'd be funny if we are. If it does have some pushing power, then there's a little bit of utility in that, I suppose. Oh, he's inching back. I didn't notice that before. So that actually is Nerd Rage now, and it's a little bit risky for me to be around like that. That's our second repair kit. Now, funnily enough, one of the things that Bethesda did is they addressed this whole weapon breaking thing. They used to break like you wouldn't believe. Then they went and adjusted a lot of things. Now legacies don't break all the time when using them, which was like, I saw that as like a balancing factor, but they gave them a big old buff when they adjusted that. It doesn't look like they've decided to do that for the gamma gun, although I suppose you wouldn't really have this much volume of fire because you wouldn't be full autoing a quad quite so much, but the longevity of this weapon definitely is dragging it down a little bit here. Now what I could have done is chuck on the smaller barrel, which will compromise my range, so it's not going to be as accurate over range, but it will significantly reduce the amount of AP that I get, and I mean the AP that I use per shot as compared to the big ass barrel here. But, you know, 205 or something, whatever the hell we're getting for the crits, that's actually not that bad at all. It's quite good. And if we want to get this a little bit more of a sort of risky, if we go a little bit closer, we can make sure those projectiles get there sooner, bringing more criticals on when we eventually do hit them. So we'll get in a little bit closer. It might be right just to full auto him to death right now. Just hold the trigger until he's dead, I reckon. There we go. The reload on this is slow, but since we've got such a large ammo capacity compared to normal, the gaps in DPS aren't too bad at all. So, you know, despite my objections, yeah, admittedly it did have its problems, but I think it actually did a pretty good job. I think that was under a 10-minute kill there, so it's not like we worked hard for that, so I'm sort of quite pleased with it. Something I'm kind of worried about is the ammo consumption, because this thing, well, the ammo is a fairly expensive thing to make, but I think the breaking point, the red flag, the straw that broke the camel's back. No, that's not it. The deal breaker is just the fact that I had to repair it so many times. And apparently, Earl was liking the shotguns too. And I think from here on out, if I want to do some crippling, I'll probably just chuck one rank. Unless I'm a stealth commander, then I'll just rely on Tormentor. But yeah, having that easily crippling thing, and I went today without a explosive vampires combat shotgun, and it still worked out just as well. And there wasn't an obnoxious sound when the projectiles hit either. That's very important to me. But they managed to do it. It did it pretty well. So yeah, I'll give it a pass. Just that we had to sacrifice a couple of repair kits. Not a problem for me on a world server, but in real, out there, in actual servers where you'll actually consume resources, it might be an issue. So probably wouldn't run this unless you want to get some quick free damage whilst triggering sieges and all the epileptic players, and go right ahead. So there you have it. That was a Gamma Gun against Earl, and it did okay apart from the parts where it didn't, which I've already gone over. And in keeping with the swimsuit theme of today, we've got a gunner swimsuit thing. So there actually was, I wouldn't say a port, but a very basically one-to-one recreation of the Fallout 76 swimsuit that was in Fallout 76 in terms of like a Fallout 4 mod. But that doesn't exist anymore. That's gone away. Also, there's mods that actually make you drip wet. That's immersive, isn't it? It's kind of cool, actually. Mods can do some really cool shit. So, what should I do next? That's for you to decide. Be sure to leave your comments below and leave your thoughts on what happened during that fight below, because, I mean, it was pretty quick. Just, it's a shame that it broke so many times. Thank you very much for watching, guys.